Hey guys, welcome back to the Turnbuckle Taverns YouTube page. Today we are talking about how WWE superstars are pissed at Vince McMahon. Before we get into this, make sure you guys click on the link in the description below, subscribe to the YouTube page, subscribe to the podcast where you can rate, subscribe, and review. It'll take you to our social media pages. The link will also take you to our Pro Wrestling Tee store. Click the bell up in the corner so you guys can subscribe to notifications for when we drop more videos. But let's get right into it, man. Vince McMahon, his superstars are pissed at him.
Yeah, they are. They're really mad. This is a big deal. Kind of break down what they're mad about, Snake. Kind of give us the lowdown.
Yeah, so Vince McMahon has a few days ago, it had come out that Vince McMahon he gave the superstars 30 days to cease operations with any third-party affiliations. That would include Cameo, Twitch, YouTube, anything that they're using, because WWE owns their likeness, and they don't want them making money off of their likeness. I mean, that's what it boils down to.
And there's a lot of wrestlers who have kind of made a name for themselves in these third parties. I think, the New Day, Xavier Woods. He's got that up, down, down show that's massive. I think that's a YouTube show, right?
Yes. It has 2.2 million subscribers.
And then you've got a lot of wrestlers. I think AJ Styles is doing this. Adam Cole is doing this. A lot of WWE stars are playing video games, and you can kind of watch them play video games on Twitch. There's people doing cameos, making money off of it. I think Sheamus has like a workout channel on YouTube that he's using his name, his WWE name.
Yeah. Well, that's going to stop.
All of that is done in 30 days. I think Paige even has a Twitch channel that she's been pushing, and she came out and said she's not going to stop.
Yeah, so Paige said she's not going to stop. Xavier Woods actually came out and said they asked him about it, asked him if he was going to keep his game name alive, and he said, I don't have any answers. I have no answers. I have no idea what's going on. I think I'm fine. I think most people are fine, but we'll find out. I don't know. I'm not the person to ask. I wish I knew more, but I don't, unfortunately. We're going to stream as much as we can for as long as we can. I'm just trying to build an audience so that when I get my G4 gig, we have a built-in crew. Keep my game name alive.
Yeah, and I think it came out that maybe one of the reasons WWE is doing this is like damage control from WWE, but they were saying it's maybe that they had a deal that they were working with Cameo, or even that they were going to start their own type of third-party platform. So essentially, what it sounds like to me is they want a cut.
Yeah, they want their money. That's all that it is. What it boils down to is they want the money, because they've already tried doing the whole virtual meet and greet type thing where they charged $125 for a 2-minute conversation where the people get a copy of the video afterwards.
Right.
And I mean, that's essentially, that's a Cameo-esque type thing. But what it boils down to is they're not getting any money off of these people making money.
And I guess it started like one of the things that started this kind of growing in Vince's head was Lana was doing Instagram posts of her promoting Bang energy drinks.
Okay.
And that tipped him off to it. And then the Sheamus thing where he was doing the workout videos using his name, his WWE name. And it all kind of started like a snowball effect. Seeing all these WWE superstars with these third-party deals. And, AJ, he's one of those top guys where he's doing it just as kind of a fun way to connect. He's getting money from it, but it's not a big thing, but there are a lot of guys who are kind of building that brand for themselves that aren't main event guys, that aren't getting those top paychecks. And not only does this put a little extra money in their pocket, but it also helps their brand, where we've seen what WWE do. You never know when they're going to do a mass layoff and shit can a bunch of wrestlers. So,
Right, of course, yeah.
so this is a way for them to have some kind of notoriety in the wrestling space, where if they were to get fired by WWE, they could get bookings. They could have a name going into another company.
I just think I think it's awful that they're doing this, man.
Yeah, it's hurt.
They've told them
It's hurting their guys.
Yeah, it's so the quote was, some of you are engaged with outside third parties using your name and likeness in ways that are detrimental to our company. It is imperative that these activities be terminated within the next 30 days by Friday, October 2nd. Continued violations will result in fines, suspensions, or terminations at WWE's discretion. So,
Yeah, it looks like Lana received a lot of feedback for that Bang Energy commercial. It looks like AJ Styles received a lot of flack because he revealed several things on his Twitch stream. He talked about his beef with Paul Heyman. He talked about the Good Brothers being released, how his son doesn't watch WWE anymore, and then he revealed his positive corona test result. That pissed them off.
They just want control over everything.
Yeah, they want everything WWE to be filtered through them. Like anything that, because they're at such a high level where they're a publicly traded company now. What if their mindset is probably like, well, I don't think their mindset is necessarily, I want to take money out of these guys' pockets. I don't think it's necessarily that. It's what if they say something the wrong way? What if they do the wrong thing? It reflects back on this company. I think that's where it all starts. But to me, it comes off it reminds me of when the UFC did away with sponsorships, when they did the Reebok deal, and then all these fighters who could go out and get sponsorships and almost double, triple their pay, all that was taken away and they could only wear Reebok, and that hurt fighters across the board.
Yeah, of course.
And it reminds me of that. It's a big corporate decision that hurts not necessarily the top tier guys, but it hurts your lower guys who need that extra money.
Yeah, it's not the guys that are riding in tour buses that are being affected. It's the guys that are making towns in
rental cars,
Toyota Camrys.
Right, exactly.
That are trying to make an extra buck, and now you're telling them that they can't do it. And if they're going to do something like a cameo or a whatever, if they're going to do their own version of that, the cut for they're just getting money from it.
Yeah. They're not going to, no matter how you slice it, they're going to take a hit. The superstars are taking a hit on the money that they would receive, because now if it's all ran through WWE and they have these third party things that they run themselves, then the kickback these guys are going to get is going to be a percentage of what the company gets.
Right.
So it's not going to be like their own source of income. And McMahon is really creating a atmosphere there that doesn't seem very friendly to his roster.
Nope. And I think it's great that we saw on All Out the blatant and obvious shot that was taken by Kip Sabian.
Yeah,
FTR.
Yeah, during the Kip Sabian thing, they threw up the Twitch address and said this has been approved by AEW, and FTR made the comment. And I think, even though I haven't seen it yet, but I heard that Brody Lee took a shot at it on the Beat episode of Being the Elite today.
Yep.
So we had discussed this on the All Out podcast that we did that you can subscribe to on Apple Podcasts. This isn't just them, these little digs that AEW are doing towards WWE about this third party issue. This isn't just them taking digs. This is them telling the roster, the WWE roster, like, hey, over here, we don't police you like that.
Right.
We allow you to make your own money. We allow you to build your own brand. Not everything has to be filtered through Tony Khan.
Yeah, you're a true independent contractor, basically.
And that's the big issue I wanted to talk about a little bit, is the whole independent contractor situation. WWE superstars are under the WWE. The WWE recognizes them as independent contractors, meaning they don't have to provide health care. They don't have to provide all the benefits of a full-time employee, but they have to adhere to the rules that a full-time employee has to adhere to.
Right.
So essentially they're being classified as independent contractors where it helps the WWE, but they're not given the luxuries that an independent contractor has. They can't freely go where they want. They can't, the rules set up on a WWE superstar are that of a full-time employee, but that's not how they're treated.
Right. Yeah, it's
so much to the fact that the guy who ran for president or ran to be a presidential nominee, Andrew Yang, came out and pretty
roasted
much roasted Vince hard. And, he came out and said, come on, Vince, you've already deprived folks breaking their backs for you of health care, security, recovery time, retirement benefits, and fair treatment, like licenses and royalties. At least let them make a living off their own names. Many of them need it. And he said, if I'm not the Secretary of Labor, I'm pretty confident I'll have his or her number to talk about the ridiculous classification of WWE wrestlers as independent contractors while controlling their name and likeness for years. He went on to say that, Vince, you better hope your old friend Donald wins, because change is in the air and changes are long overdue where your corrupt labor practices are concerned. So this isn't just like a wrestling world issue of just how a wrestling company runs their thing. This has now become a labor dispute.
Yeah. And it should, because I mean, like he said, this has gone untalked about for years.
Right.
And I think it's time. I mean, come on, man, this type of business and you can't give anybody health care.
Right. Like how they are the industry standard in pro wrestling, and they're not offering things like that.
Yeah. I think it's garbage.
Which is fine. If you don't want to, and you wanted to classify them as independent contractors, fine, but then allow them to work as an independent contractor.
Yeah. It's having your cake and eating it too. You can't have it both ways.
Right.
Are they going to be an employee, or are they going to be an independent contractor?
Exactly. It's one or the other.
You can't dabble in both, because that is unfair business practice.
Do you think they backpedal on this, or do you think they stick to Vince sticks to his guns on it?
I think he sticks to his guns on it. I don't think he's going to backpedal, because I think that means it's taking money out of his pocket.
Now, having said that, do you think if he sticks to it, which I agree, I think he does, do you think him making this decision, do you think this becomes kind of one of those deciding factors for future free agents of WWE to make the decision to test the waters elsewhere?
Depending on what how much money they make, depending on what they're capable of making through those third-party apps, versus what they're going to be paid with another company. Is it going to equal out to be, you know what I mean?
Right. So, I mean, think about guys like Brian Myers and Matt Cardona. They've kind of built their own little empire of the Major Wrestling Figure podcast. They have YouTube content. I mean, if they were there, that would have went away.
And you know what I think's funny is that when they started doing that, WWE said that they didn't see anything in that,
Right.
in that brand.
And now don't they have a toy show on? Didn't WWE just start?
Yeah, it's something. Yeah.
Like you had two guys who were experts and you denied
Who had
them.
independently built up a fan base who has almost 100,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Right. And it's a loyal, rabid fan base, and WWE didn't want anything to do with it. But now that they look and see how successful it's been, now they dip their toe in the water of having a toy,
Right.
a show about collecting and toys.
We don't think there's any money. Wait, we can make money? Yeah, we see something in it now.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of how they do their business practices. I'm just not a big fan of them as a company right now.
I don't see how anyone could take up for stuff like this. You know, if you're a wrestling fan and you support wrestlers, how could you side with a corporation that makes choices that hurt pro wrestlers? You know,
I mean,
I don't get that.
That doesn't make you a great fan, in my opinion.
No, not at all.
But I mean, that's really all I have to say. I'm sure we'll talk more about it on the podcast on Wednesday, but
Oh yeah.
What do you guys think about it? Do you guys think that it's okay what they're doing with these wrestlers' livelihoods? Leave a comment below and let us know what you guys think.